What careers or jobs most attract psychopaths? I was a carny. I don't know which came first, the drugs or psychotic behavior, but I witnessed both in bulk. Homeowners Association President. OP just said psychopaths, not actual minions of Satan. Little known field that is rife with psychopathy, public accounting. There's been a study on this. It included corporate executives but also surgeons and chefs, both of whose work tends not to require not much actual socialization. Or at least only with subordinates. I'm a chef. Can confirm. Paparazzi. Who was the first to think? Let's harass celebrities and play the victim when they lash out? What scum? I think statistically it's surgeons and CEOs. Worked with many a surgeon. We used to wonder about some of them. Especially the one who worked with some of the assistants for 10+ years and didn't know their names. This guy would walk through the halls and not really even acknowledge your presence. He truly didn't care about others. His motto was pain is the patient's problem. Sales. It's known that psychopaths excel in sales because they do whatever they can to get ahead. Learned about it in psych in my undergrad and it always stuck with me. Edit. I've worked sales jobs myself. So I'm not judging anyone at all. I am just relaying information I recalled from my undergrad. John Ronson wrote a fantastic book, The Psychopath Test. He interviewed people who created and used the test, as well as many psychopaths. Psychopaths in his book ranged from imprisoned murderers to very wealthy CEOs. My uncle is a non-violent psychopath. He was a very successful stockbroker. Retired at 50. Has a house that overlooks the beach where they shot Baywatch. Has never helped a single person in his family. I find those often in HR are not people that should be in HR. King car sales. Not sure if the job attracts them or makes normal people that way. But it's full of them. Banking. The higher you advance in the hierarchy, the less empathy you have. Exponentially. Most clinical psychopaths, over 30 on the checklist, are actually so impulsive and out of control that they either don't have jobs because they're in prison right now, or they bounce from job to job either quitting or getting fired fast. A prominent trait of psychopathy is actually an inability to hold down jobs for long periods of time. People might say surgeons or CEOs. That psychopathic trait is not full-blown psychopaths. Pizzeria security. Serial killers seem to like positions of authority but almost always have assault battery priors, so they often end up as rent-a-cops and security guards. One career that doesn't immediately come to mind but makes a ton of sense when you think about it is charity worker. Especially if you get to management. What do psychopaths want? To get away with abusing power over others. What better way to do that than to surround yourself with powerless people who desperately need whatever the charity is providing? And typical charity workers that are extremely helpful. Caring people who are most inclined to want to see the good in others. I have a friend with PTSD from being abused by his boss and being forced to witness his boss abuse the people who needed the charity while working at a non-profit. And his therapist told him his story is surprisingly common. Reddit mods. Jobs. Lawyers. CEOs. I don't know that it attracts psychopaths, but psychopaths make excellent first responders and they're far less likely to freak the FCK out in an emergency or get stuck helping the one who screams loudest. Psychopaths aren't necessarily maladjusted. In theory. We generally only hear about what info we get from studying in jails, so. Construction. As a construction worker, I have met literally the worst human beings I've ever met while in the trades. One guy, because I quit working for a TTY company, legit said he should pay me. Semicolon. Like okay bud. Fkin weirdo. Unemployment department phone employee. IDK if this is true, but I believe the chances of running into a total psycho go up along with the chain of command. The higher up the chain you go, the more likely you'll find a psychopath. Because having no remorse is beneficial to the position. Sex traffickers. Blood spatter analyst. Edit. Crossing guards. Always telling you what to do and what not to do and when to do it. The F-king entitlement these people have. Police and politics. Police by far. They lie to people. They enforce immoral laws. And worst of all, they caused problems for people over dumb shit. They try to create crime. They don't actually stop it. That's how you end up with dead people and a whole police force defending one of their own and even hiding things. I stopped you because your headlight's out. You are acting strange. Can I search? No. That's okay. I will ask my friend's dog instead of you. Government management. And I'm not talking about politicians. I'm talking about your department managers and execs. I've worked for some insane people. Psychopaths usually have a hard time holding a job due to a lack of empathy and inability to alter their behavior or dial it back enough to keep one. They seek out positions that allow or encourage direct physical harm towards others, or where such acts can be routinely hidden. Corrections jobs allowing direct contact with inmates. Law enforcement. Dedicated combat jobs in the military. The medical field. Animal control. All necessary jobs where blood and death are routine. Most people mistakenly equate psychopathy with sociopathy. A successful sociopath can be looked at as a psychopath with more control. They don't directly harm others but harness their lack of empathy. Their harm is less immediately physical and more socially and economically oriented. Corporate executives. Politicians. Lawyers and the like. All necessary jobs where not giving a damn about others is a valuable attribute. I'm going into the aerospace industry as an engineer soon and I feel like a lot of those engineers who work for defense companies building weapons that kill people are just different. I've had a number of interviews with defense industry people and every time the interviewer puts me off with the ways they describe their work building bombs and missiles and shit that definitely blow up human beings. Maybe it's the way they always frame it as supporting the warfighter and how their products are innovative kill chain technologies and shit. I would bet money that the defense industry has a measurably higher rate of psychopaths. Apparently the mother F-king president of the United States. According to the book The Psychopath Next Door. 1. CEO 2. Lawyer 3. Media, TV radio, 4. Salesperson 5. Surgeon 6. Journalist 7. Police officer 8. Nurses. I'm not sure if it's because people just want the pay or what but nurses can be so evil. Like the ones beating on old people and shit. This. During my first, and only, round of clinicals I witnessed so much casual cruelty. Once I went into a man's room to check on him and he was parched. The man had a severe skin condition that left his entire body covered in painful blisters and had just had neck surgery. So he was completely unable to move his body to get his own water. The man's wife explained that the nurses got tired of him asking for water so they told them that they weren't giving them any more straws. I ended up grabbing a whole handful of them out of the supply closet and a giant cup of ice water for the poor guy. It was extra upsetting because the nurses were too busy laughing at their desk to even bother with this one small thing. Park construction. Instagram influencers. Dentists. On a serious note, clinical psychopathy is actually very beneficial for high stress, high stakes jobs like surgeons, high level politicians, combatants. Basically anyone that has to make life or death decisions for strangers. Psychopaths have a bad reputation because stories of psychopathic murderers are way more sensational than stories of psychopathic surgeons. And convicted criminals get psychoanalyzed more frequently than non-criminals. I read a great book about the benefits of psychopathy. But I can't remember the title and I'm gonna go eat some pizza. I'll let you know when I find it because I want to read it again now. Lol. Police. Lawyers. pay teachers. Cops seem to be the censuses here. On Reddit. Shocked. White ladies running non-profits. People who euthanize healthy animals. Not veterinarians. But like people who work in animal shelters. Dictator. Apparently. No one on here knows what a psychopath is. Yeah, it seems to be that misinformations are getting the most upvotes. I even saw a comment here of someone saying they were a psychopath and another one replied something like, "Oh you poor thing, it must be hurtful that everyone always thinks that psychopaths are evil. You seem like a genuine caring guy." Or the most common, "My boss is a psychopath because he is always raging at people, screaming at them and throwing things. It's hilarious and sad." Any job where they have a powerful position and a lot of variety. Line cooks. No bankers? Man. These guys always slip under the radar. If you ever wonder why the US government and economy is a cruel, rigged cluster of CK, it's bankers. They're major shareholders in every public company and major creditors to the rest. Every major political decision goes through them. They are the system. Surprised nobody said finance in general. Worked in asset management. Boss would be trembling in rage on the phone. Throwing chairs. At one point in a meeting he said he kept his door open so everyone could hear him screaming. Nurses. I don't know why. But nurses. Positions in religious leadership. Was raised evangelical. The hypocrisy. I said, did you really just do that? Moments. And internecine spats were surreal. Politics. I used to believe this. But I respectfully disagree after a 10-year and ongoing political background. There are sociopaths and narcissists. Yes. But you are going to be dealing with a lot of things that a narcissist or a sociopath simply cannot handle. Working tons of hours. Having people hate you that don't even know you. People treating you like crap because they don't agree with your political opinions. Extremely low wages. Then you have things like door knocking or canvassing. Phone banks. Lot of petty things that until you're a congressman you're going to have to do, and narcissists simply don't want to do these things. Probably slaughterhouse workers, the ones who don't find it traumatic. Anyone gives people a sense of power, authority. I did research on the prevalence of psychopathy in corporate environments. The average rate of psychopathy in the general population is 1 in 100. The rate of psychopathy amongst high-tier corporate officers is 1 in 10. I guarantee you some of the people I work with in IT have at least 3 to 4 bodies buried under their cellar. Host of The Apprentice? Top 10 jobs that attract psychopaths. 1. CEO. 2. Lawyer. 3. Media, TV, radio. 4. Salesperson. 5. Surgeon. 6. Journalist. 7. Police officer. 8. Clergy person. 9. Chef. 10. Tanning salon owners. Narcissists are a different can of worms. And that's what I think you're talking about. The police, military. I was army infantry and we had some f-king nuts in my unit. Big army only cares about numbers.